It doesn't matter what skill you wish to develop in the software world. It all starts with programming languages. Especially in the last few years, programming languages have made the lives incredibly easier for both new learners and software developers alike. So what's the outfall from this surge of easy-to-use programming languages? Firstly, it has made programming a popular skill among general audiences. Students from different fields like medical, commerce, and finance, who generally avoided programming in the past, are now interested in learning how to code and develop new skills. Secondly, because programming languages are now very easy to learn and implement, it's common to find new tools and software being built on these languages. As a result, there are more implementation of programming than there ever was before, even in areas where it's not really needed. If you're a programmer and have basic understanding of how to code, I'm sure you understand why learning a new programming language is important. As you learn more languages, it gives you a better chance of landing jobs, doing more quality projects, and even keeping yourself sharp. But what languages should you learn? In this video, I'll talk about the top 5 languages to learn in 2022. I've tried to cover all the areas of development like front-end, back-end, application, and web development, just to make sure there's something for everyone. So let's get started. Number 1 on the list is Python. Everyone loves Python because it's one of the easiest in terms of syntax and has a wide range of applications. Whether you're an expert programmer or an amateur, learning Python is the first thing you should do if you want to make a mark in software development in 2022. Generally, Python is used for developing scalable web applications, and it's a go-to language for many top companies like Facebook, Twitter, SurveyMonkey, and Pinterest. Python is loaded with libraries, and that's what makes it so special. There's a huge amount of documentation and guidance available on the internet. In my opinion, you can learn Python on your own through tutorials found on the internet. You can write code in so many ways using Python. It supports procedural, object-oriented, and functional programming, making it a perfect learning tool for new learners. As far as technology is concerned, Python is knocking down doors at the highest level in technology, as applications artificial intelligence, machine learning, data sciences, and IoT. These are all technologies of the future, right? This is what makes Python a top language to learn in 2022. Next up, we have Kotlin. Kotlin is a general-purpose programming language. It has a statically typed open-source language developed by JetBrains. Kotlin has immense applications in Android development and is a highly robust tool if you want to write clean and efficient code. Even though Java is a popular language for Android development, Kotlin has some advantages for the developers. Stats suggest that Kotlin uses 40% fewer lines of code as compared to Java. Also, Kotlin has support from Google, so you can understand how valuable it can be in the next coming years. In 2017, Google announced Kotlin as the official programming language for Android development. Kotlin supports object-oriented programming and runs on a Java virtual machine. Much like Python, there's a lot of information and learning materials available for Kotlin online, so it's quite easy to learn Kotlin frameworks and libraries to learn advanced topics in programming and coding. Next up, we have R. Perhaps there is no language with a shorter name. It comes from the first names of its developers, Ross Ihaka and Robert Gentleman. R was introduced back in 1993, but it burst on the scene recently in the ever-growing race in artificial intelligence and machine learning as it's picked up its pace over the last decade. R runs on Mac, Linux, and Windows operating systems. R has a unique method of working. It makes use of statistics to understand patterns in large data sets. There are also several tools that support data processing and statistical algorithms with extensive libraries. It's common to find applications of R in some of the top tech companies. These companies are for enterprise solutions. Thanks to statistical data support, R can be easily implemented in finance and banking sectors. Some more applications of R include healthcare, e-commerce, and social media. If you're interested in data science or statistical applications, R is an excellent choice to add to your toolkit as a software developer. Next, we have Swift. Swift was introduced as a replacement for Objective-C and is targeted for Mac and iOS devices. It's quite vast language with several tools to work with and relatively easy when it comes to syntax. Swift has support features for iPhone because of its simple syntax, so you can develop and write code more efficiently. If you want to become an iOS developer or like to develop iOS or Mac applications, then Swift can be a perfect programming language for you. Swift has a lot of online content and support material, so it's very easy to learn. Because it's inspired by Python, you can expect simple syntax. Because Swift primarily supports iOS development, it's useful for developing applications on iOS, macOS, tvOS, and watchOS. Next on our list, we have JavaScript. JavaScript has always been a classical language for web development, and it's likely to remain on that list for many more years. It's flexible, high-level programming language, and remarkably easy to learn too. JavaScript is used for making web pages, and the majority of the web pages run on JavaScript, running around the globe. Currently, Java runs on both browser and server-side with the help of JavaScript engine. It's also great for designing dynamic mobile applications for iOS and Android, but it needs the support of native platforms to work. If you want to become a web developer, start learning JavaScript. Since you've watched with interest so far, I have just one more language for you. If you want to work with cloud development, then learning Go is a must for you. Also known as Golang, this is a programming language that provides frameworks for server farms, making them easy to control. Go is highly useful for multi-threading operations, and top companies like Google back this programming language. Some top companies use Go language because of its simplified programming frameworks. There are no metaprogramming concepts, and the syntax is fairly straightforward. So if you want to work with media, platforms, cloud services, or Google products, Go language is a must-learn tool for you in 2022. Now that you've learned the top programming languages, you should watch my video on the top skills needed to become a successful software engineer to further increase your likelihood of taking your career to the next level. See you in there.